One of my proudest moments about 3 years ago today was nearing the end of ministry school and wanting to continue my experience in ministry, not exactly knowing how to go about that. But a friend of mine said he knew some pastors who had planted a church recently in Boston, and he said, "You have a similar heart, I think you should go and serve them." And as someone who's very planned, very organized, I went and I prayed about it, and without having personally met these pastors or really knowing how I was going to make it happen financially, I said, I've got faith for this, and I'm going to take a risk. And I saw the Lord's faithfulness and provision so much throughout that past year. And it's one of my proudest moments. And really, it's been 3 years of a really proud process for me, because it's marked me as an individual who loves taking risks with sincere faith and is wanting to invest in the long term of building something with others. And that's what I've done with the local church here. And as I'm taking my next risk into grad school, I would love to share what you'd be investing in. Join me inside. So who are you investing in? You're investing in an individual who has a desire to help resource and educate the local church, as well as a desire to help resource and educate in higher education. So what are my vocational plans after grad school? Well, I plan to go on and get my PhD. And ideally, in the short term, I think my sweet spot would be as an adjunct professor and then as a teaching pastor in my local church. And then eventually, I would love to continue to learn and grow and work my way into being a full-time faculty and researcher at a university. And then most likely on an eldership team in my local church. So that is where my vision is headed. You are investing in a visionary. So what are the questions I am most excited to ask as I head into grad school? Well, as it relates to the local church, on the topic of poverty and those experiencing homelessness and addiction, I'm passionate about asking, what did eagerness for the poor look like for the early church? What did eagerness for the poor look like in Jesus's ministry? And then bringing it to the modern day context, what are we doing in the local church globally for those who are marginalized and those who are experiencing extreme poverty? And I would love to just build maybe resources or tools and find what people are doing in other communities that have really worked as far as having that as a real aspect of justice and mercy in their congregations. And secondly, as it relates to higher education, everyone I've been talking to in my applications for grad school keeps commenting on how higher education is a moving target, how it's ever evolving, and how the future of divinity schools is going to look different. And that really excites me. I would love to do more of a study on the history of divinity schools in the United States in general. What movements did they come out of? What's been the fruit of their ministries so far, and how has education itself evolved, and where is it headed in the future? I think having a background in knowing what the history of our divinity schools have looked like will help in setting the future of what we want it to look like. And I'm excited to have a place in that as well. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share my plans, my passions, and a little bit of my story with you. I really appreciate your consideration for this investment. Thank you.